Back to episode 96 of Cameron Sports Podcast. It's your host here, Cameron Lindsay. I'm back with a brand new episode. Today's episode is a NBA Finals edition. I'm going to be making my 2025 NBA Finals predictions, talking about the matchup a little bit, give my prediction who I have for Finals MVP, legacies. What does winning the NBA Finals do for either franchise or the star player like SGA or Tyrese Halliburton? And, here to talk about that. So let me get right into it. But first, let me start with the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Western Conference champions. OKC has made this is their first NBA Finals appearance since 2012. The last time the Thunder made the NBA Finals, they played against LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh, the Miami Heat Big Three. They lost in 5 games. They won Game 1. Like I said, we thought it would be a good series, but Miami ended up winning 4 straight after Game 1. That was a young Kevin Durant, a young Westbrook, a young James Harden. And after that Finals, OKC traded James Harden to Houston, where he became the James Harden we know of today. And like Oklahoma City, I'll say one thing about that franchise. Sam Presti has done a very good job. The talent from KD, Russ, James Harden, Serge Ibaka, what's his name, y'all? Reggie Jackson. Players like that have brought in a lot of talent with the picks they have, and even trading Paul George to the Clippers to get SGA, even though we didn't think SGA would be this good. That pick ends up working out. They also get Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams. So they have brought in a lot of great talent. Sam Presti deserves a lot of credit. Now, it's time for him to cash in. Like Stephen A. Smith said on First Take, it's time for Sam Presti to cash in. You can't keep bringing in all this talent with the picks or trades and not producing championships. I feel like I said, last time in 2012, when they made the Finals, like I said, they ran into the Miami Heat with a prime LeBron James, a prime D Wade, a prime Chris Bosh. And Kevin Durant and the rest of them were all babies real young. So, of course you give OKC a pass losing in 5 games to such a great team like that. But now, even though this OKC team is the second youngest team to, I think, ever reach the NBA Finals at 25.6 years old. Their oldest player is Alex Caruso. He's 31 years old. But yeah, a very impressive franchise, but they need to capitalize right now if they want to take the pressure off of them. If Sam Presti wants to take the pressure off of him, like, okay, I can get it done. I don't just produce talent, but now I can produce championships with that talent. So, but yeah, OKC's path to get into the Finals, they beat Memphis in the first round, 4-1. They beat Denver in 7, and they beat Minnesota in 5. Like so I knew they was gonna beat Memphis pretty easily. My bad. They swept Memphis. I said 5. They swept Memphis. No surprise. Denver went 7. Like I said, that was their best matchup, with Denver led by the former MVP Nikola Jokic. Now Minnesota, I thought that would be a great series. If you watched my last NBA episode, when I made my conference finals predictions, I really thought it would be 7 games. The way Ant's been playing, the Timberwolves been playing. Like I said, they beat my Lakers in 5. They beat the Warriors in 5, even though Steph did get hurt. But I think even with Steph not getting hurt, I think they probably would still beat Golden State in 5. I thought like 2 young stars, Anthony Edwards, SGA, who could be the face of the league. I'm thinking they'd go back and forth, but he did struggle. I love Anthony Edwards. I love his game, but, you got to step up. And being a superstar, you got to take criticism. And that's my job as a sports journalist, criticize him a little bit. He did not play very well. Now, granted, he didn't really have much help from players like Rudy Gobert, but Rudy Gobert's never been an offensive threat. He gets his points off of putbacks, uh, and maybe a pick and roll. And if he has a mismatch under the basket versus a smaller player, they may throw him the ball. Julius Randle, he played okay, but everybody else, Nikhil Alexander Walker, Nas Reed, didn't really play all that well in that series. So led to OKC beating them in 5. Also during the Western Conference Finals, during the playoffs, the OKC's run to the finals, SGA won MVP. And he also won Western Conference Finals MVP. Now, if I had to vote, I would have voted for SGA. I know some people say Nikola Jokic based off of him averaging pretty much a 30-point triple-double. But I just feel like SGA deserved it more because he led the league in scoring back-to-back years just about. The number 1 seed. So and last time I checked, that plays a criteria into MVP of how well your team is overall. He had 65 wins, 65, 68 wins with OKC. Now, granted, Alex, I know if Nikola Jokic did average a triple-double. He had a career high in points, rebounds, and I think assists. But I just feel like Nikola could always win another MVP. Even next year, he'll probably be MVP favorite, depending on how if Denver is at least a top 4, 5 seed. But I think SGA deserved that MVP. And Western Conference Finals MVP, of course, he deserved that, averaging literally almost 30 points per game in the playoffs. But yeah, now this next question I wrote down again has to do with SGA. If OKC wins, is SGA the best Thunder of all time? I seen this question pop up on I forgot what show it was, maybe First Take or First Things First, and I say no. The reason I say no because I think he would have to win 2 to 3 titles. At least 2 titles. If they win this championship this year, and they win another one sometime within the next few years or whenever before his career is over, and he wins another MVP and another Finals MVP, then I say you can pass Russ and KD because you just can't diminish what KD and Russ did. I understand they didn't win a championship in OKC, but they did lead Thunder to the NBA Finals at 21, 22 years old. A 21-year-old KD and Russ led the Thunder to the NBA Finals. I think in the Western Conference Finals, I think they beat San Antonio, a very good Spurs team. I think I have to go back and check when I get the chance, but we can't do them out. KD also is a 4-time scoring champ for OKC. I know SGA has led the league in scoring a couple times now, but KD done it 4 times. He also has won MVP. Russ averaged a triple-double a couple times with OKC, even after Kevin Durant left. Also won MVP. So we can't. And plus, I think Russ is the all-time leader in scoring for OKC, him or KD. But that's why I can't diminish what Russ and KD did, even if SGA wins. If OKC wins the NBA championship and SGA is named Finals MVP with his MVP, but now if he does, I say he's top 3. If the OKC wins, he's right behind them too, obviously, because I don't like I said you can't put Harden because Harden wasn't Harden with OKC. He was coming off the bench. He was the 6th man of the year. James Harden didn't become James Harden until he got to Houston, so we can't really put James Harden above SGA at that point. But I think Russ and KD, whatever order, I would have KD over Russ. I think obviously KD's a better player, but if SGA does win the championship, he's right there. If he wins another one, 2 championships, either another MVP. I mean, I wouldn't say he does. All right, if he wins another 2 championships, and let's say he wins a Finals, he don't win a regular season MVP, but he wins a Finals MVP, I'll make an argument that okay, now we need to put SGA as the best Oklahoma City Thunder of all time. But I'm not going to diminish what KD and Russ did for that franchise. Me seeing them grow up, going against the Miami Heat, Big 3, in the NBA Finals. Like I said, the Thunder are going against the Pacers. I guarantee if the Pacers played that Miami Heat team, they probably get swept. Paul George and led that Pacers team to 7 games against the Heat, and he couldn't beat them. So so I pretty much think that OKC had a harder when they first made the finals in 2012 versus this OKC team now against Tyrese Halliburton and the Indiana Pacers. So I say no. He would have to win at least 2 championships. If he wins 3, there's no doubt he's the best OKC Thunder of all time. But I think he has to win at least 2. Don't get me wrong, winning your franchise's first NBA championship that Kevin Durant couldn't do, that Russ couldn't do, that's a big accomplishment. But we just can't diminish what KD and Russ did. That era of basketball they were in at 21 years old was different. It was hard. You had the Spurs, the Mavericks, the Heat. So it was very hard for them the Lakers, Kobe and my Lakers, very hard for them to get to the NBA Finals that year. So I just think that, like I said, the Thunder has even had an easier path. Like I said, they swept Memphis. They had a hard series against Denver, and they pretty much genuinely swept Minnesota, beat them in 5 games. So I'm not finna diminish what KD and Russ did. Even though SGA won the championship, what they couldn't do in OKC. Matter of fact, this OKC team is constructed better than that one because, like I said, Russ, really wasn't a really good 3-point. That's the reason why KD left. Like I said, the way Russ played, he got tired of it because Russ is not a player that... Russ is a player where you're going to have a lot of good, but you're going to have a lot of bad, too. Even with this Russ with Denver. Russ has been playing well. He shot the 3 ball pretty decently in the regular season. Playoffs, I think, was okay. But you also gonna have the ugly with Russ. You're gonna have the turnovers. Not that really good defender. Terrible shot makes. So not a really good free throw shooter. That's the reason why KD left. Because he doesn't want all the pressure on him. I'll take that back. Not all the pressure on him. He wants to feel like he doesn't have to do everything. And when he went to Golden State, like, okay, I could play off the ball. Steph, Clay, Draymond, he could, they can get him better looks to where KD, he doesn't have to create his own shot himself every single time, even though he can. SGA, you got Chet, who's a pretty decent offensive player, a really good defender. You got Jalen Williams, who made all NBA player, all defensive team. Lou Dort got a 3-point shot. They got Alex Caruso. They got a pretty good bench. So this OKC Thunder team is constructed very well around SGA. That OKC team where they were going back and forth, like, is this Russ team, this KD's team? So they really didn't know how to really construct it around who to construct that team around. They just had a lot of young talent. They didn't really construct it around a certain player or players. This OKC team is constructed around SGA. But yeah. Now let's get to the Indiana Pacers. The Pacers have made their first NBA Finals appearance since 2000 when they played my Lakers, the Shaq and Kobe Lakers, and lost in 6 games, 4-2. And that Pacers team was led by Reggie Miller. Now, the Pacers' path to the NBA Finals, they beat Milwaukee in 6 games. They beat the Cavs in 5-6 games. And they beat the Knicks in 6 games. Now, for the Bucks series, I did pick the Pacers over the Bucks due to the fact that I didn't know if Dame was going to play. Even if he did end up playing, I think, game 2. But I'm like, is he really 100%? And I just didn't believe that Milwaukee Bucks team was better than Indiana. Indiana's an underrated team, right? Over the years, even back to the Paul George era, Indiana has always had a well-rounded franchise. That even if they didn't win a championship, they were a decent, respected playoff team. And I just think with Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam, Andrew Nembhard, Aaron Nesmith, Miles Turner, I just think they're constructed way better than Milwaukee Bucks. Now, Giannis was going to be Giannis, score 30 points. That I knew that was going to happen, but Kuzma and the Milwaukee Bucks bench now being that deep, I felt that Pacers was going to end up upsetting the Bucks, which they did. Now against the Cavs, like I said, I was wrong about that matchup. I thought the way the Cavs played in the regular season, Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, All-Stars, Evan Mobley, Defensive Player of the Year, Jared Allen, DeAndre Hunter, they had a really good team. The number 1 seed in the East, but they got upset. They didn't come to play. I understand they had injuries. Garland, Mobley. I understand injuries, but that's part of the game, so you can't really make too much of an excuse. But again, congratulations to the Indiana Pacers winning the Eastern Conference Finals, making their first NBA Finals appearance since 2000. Now, I do want to get to their star player, Tyrese Halliburton. And after the regular season, a vote came out that was voted by NBA players in the league of who was most overrated. And the player they voted for was Tyrese Halliburton. And I was confused about it because I think he's one of the best point guards in the NBA. Now, granted, his scoring went down a little bit, but he still had a very great year. And in the playoffs, he's balling. He's averaging 18.8 points per game, 9.8 assists, just about the same that he averaged in the regular season. He's literally averaging almost 20 points a game and almost 10 assists. He makes his teammates better. He's been balling. He's hitting big shots. Even a game against the Bucks where I thought the Bucks was gonna win, he took Giannis one-on-one. Giannis is a great defender, former Defensive Player of the Year, matter of fact. Giannis won MVP and Defensive Player of the Year in the same season. One of the few players to do that alongside with Michael Jordan. I think Michael Jordan was the last to do it. Yeah, before Giannis, to win MVP and Defensive Player of the Year in the same season. Now, he took him one-on-one, straight to the basket. Giannis is a great shot blocker, great defender, and Tyrese took it right to the basket and scored on him. I just don't. I think I wasn't gonna put him in the superstar category. I'll put him in as a star, but I think he is a superstar in the rise. If the Pacers win the NBA championship and somehow beat OKC, then yeah, I think we have to officially crown. And if Tyrese Halliburton wins Finals MVP, I think we have to put him in as a superstar. I think we have. You can't deny that. Now I ain't gonna say best player in the league. I'm not gonna go that far, but I'm watching other podcasts like Pick a Side. They have certain segments where would you rather, and one of the names that came up was would you rather have Tyrese Halliburton or Trae Young? And I thought about it like Trae Young is the better scorer, and he does get the assists just like Halliburton, but his turnovers and certain shot selections. And plus Tyrese Halliburton is bigger. He's like 6'5", 6'6", maybe 6'7". Trae Young is maybe 6 feet. 6'1". They got him listed at 6'1", but a lot of us don't think he's 6'1", so at least 6 feet. And Tyrese Halliburton is a better defender. Not saying that Tyrese is an elite defender, but he plays better defense than Trae Young. But, I would rather, I ain't gonna lie, the more I think about it, I'd rather have Tyrese Halliburton than Trae Young myself, because this is the second year in a row Tyrese Halliburton has led the Pacers to the Eastern Conference Finals, and now he's led them to the NBA Finals. Now, granted, Pascal Siakam did win Eastern Conference Finals MVP, but he won by 1 vote over Tyrese Halliburton, so it could have went either way. But I think, I don't know. I understand I'm not in the NBA. I understand I will never be in the NBA. I'm a journalist, a fan. I know some players, NBA players, get into it with media people like Stephen A. Players like Kevin Durant, will get into it with journalists like Stephen A. or Kendrick Perkins, but that's their job as journalists, like I said, to critique or give credit where it's due. And I'm giving credit where it's due to Tyrese Halliburton. I think he, like I said, is a top 5 point guard in the league. He's a top 15 player in the league. But if he wins the NBA championship and wins Finals MVP, we might have to start putting him a little bit closer to top 10. A little bit. I have to make my list to see who I would have to take out. But you might have to start putting him a little bit closer. Like I said, I wouldn't quite yet put him as a superstar. But if he wins the NBA championship and then he balls out next year, then we have to put him as a superstar. We have to. But 18 points a game and nearly 10 assists, that's phenomenal by Tyrese Halliburton. And the Pacers, just like OKC, benefited from the Paul George trade because they traded Paul George to OKC, which led the Pacers in a chance to get Tyrese Halliburton from Sacramento when they traded Domantas Sabonis. Again, I didn't see this coming. I didn't suspect Tyrese Halliburton would be this good. I heard that he was pretty good in Sacramento, but we didn't think he would be this good. But yeah, again, speaking of Pascal Siakam, like I said, he won Eastern Conference Finals MVP by 1 vote over Tyrese Halliburton. I think Pascal definitely deserved it. He had 3 30-point games during the Eastern Conference Finals. He shot 60 to 70% from three times in the series. I think he definitely deserved it. Like I said, he played phenomenal. He showed up to play. Like, this is a player that they traded for last year to make their team better, and it's really paying off. And like, I feel like this could really gonna be an interesting matchup. I know some people, some of my coworkers at work think this is not gonna be a good series, that OKC's gonna win by a landslide. That could happen. I'm not saying it won't. It could happen because SGA is amazing. OKC got a very good defensive team. They got 2 players in Lou Dort and Jalen Williams that made all defensive team. Jalen Williams and SGA made all NBA team. So it could be lopsided. It wouldn't surprise me if it ended up being lopsided. I hope it don't. I want to see a great NBA Finals between these 2 teams. But like I said, and today again I saw a question. Was it on First Take? I think it was on. No, it was on Speak, and they said, which star player, SGA or Halliburton, do you trust more? And I know Paul Pierce said Halliburton, but I'm gonna say SGA, just like Joy Taylor and Keyshawn. I can't bet against the MVP. SGA, he's averaging 29.8 points per game in the playoffs. A little bit just under 30. SGA has been consistent the past couple of years, averaging 30 points a game. He's been consistent just about in the playoffs. He won the MVP for a reason, and I think he's going to show up, especially at a stage like this. I just don't see who really are they going to put on SGA. They could put Aaron Nesmith. I think Andrew Nembhard is too small. They could put Nesmith on him. They could put like I said, I really don't know. Like, I just don't see who can really stop SGA. Now, they probably gonna let SGA be SGA. Rick Carlisle is a very good coach, so he might come up with something like he did a phenomenal job putting Andrew Nembhard on Jalen Brunson and making him pick up Brunson full court in Game 6. So then that led to Brunson getting in foul trouble and not really having a good game, never catching his rhythm, keeping him under 30 points. So, but I think SGA is a better player than Brunson. He's bigger. He's 6'6". He's a better scorer. So I just think this is a tougher matchup for Indiana. Now, like I said, again, Indiana got some very good players. Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam, Miles Turner, Andrew Nembhard, Aaron Nesmith, TJ McConnell. But I just think that I had to go with Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm going to go Thunder in 6. I hope it goes 7, but I'm going to say 6. I think 6 games. I know a lot of us say 7 games, but 6 games will be a pretty good series also. Depending on how each game goes, I think I can see this going 6 games at least. I hope, but I just think the Thunder just got too much. They got the better scores. They got the better defense. We know with Chet, Jalen Williams. Like I said, Jalen Williams and Lou Dort both made all NBA defensive team. SJ and Jalen Williams both made all NBA team. So, yeah, I just trust the Thunder more than I do the Pacers. But I think this would be a very great. I think this would be a very good series that could end up being great between these two teams looking for their first NBA championship in franchise history. But let me know in the comments below, who you got for the NBA Finals. Game 1 is this Wednesday, June 8th. Like I said, I'm definitely going to be tuning in. Like I said, as a journalist, as a fan, I'm definitely going to be tuning into this game. But like I said, I got Thunder in 6. Like I said, let me know what's your prediction. You got Thunder, Pacers. Oh, and my Finals MVP is SGA, of course. There's no other option. I just don't. SGA, if he averages 27, he's going to get Finals MVP, especially if OKC wins. Now, Pacers win, it's going to be Tyrese Halliburton or it's going to be Pascal Siakam. But I got SGA as my Finals MVP again. Even if he wins Finals MVP and they win the NBA championship, I wouldn't put him over KD and Russ as all-time Thunder. Not yet. He would have to win at least one more NBA championship for me to put him over KD and Russ. But yeah, that's my prediction for episode 96 of my NBA Finals episode. I definitely appreciate each one of y'all always tuning in, listening to me talk sports, debate. Like I said, I couldn't do this without y'all, and I'll definitely be tuning in for another episode especially with the Stanley Cup Finals. Also this week, between the Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers, a rematch from last year. That's gonna be my next episode. Gonna be making my predictions about that. But follow me on all social medias: Twitter, X, Facebook, Instagram. Yeah, all that, and make sure to click that subscribe button. Give me the 300 subscribers. We at 230 something. We not far off. Like I said, if you know a friend, a coworker, refer them to the channel. Tell them to click the subscribe button and post the notifications so they'll know whenever I post a new episode. But I'll catch y'all next time for another episode of Cameron Sports Podcast. This has been your favorite host, and I'm signing out. I'll catch y'all next time.